TVC, we're going to be taking you to look at those who've taken the road less traveled by, but quite literally. Unlike you or me, who get to go max for a few weeks of travel in a year, today we're going to be looking at the phenomenon of digital nomads. These are people who've found work that they can do remotely so that they can actually fulfill their hunger to see the world and at the same time continue to climb the corporate ladder.
Well, these are not people like you and I, okay? So this is not a desk job 9 to 5. The pandemic sort of ushered in a new era of work where work from home actually became a mainstream concept. And today we look at the stories of people who never went back to office actually and continue to find ways to take their morning meetings, sometimes under the palm trees in Kerala or huddled in a little cafe tucked away in the Himalayas.
But it gets even better. So what we wanted to also look at today was the concept of digital nomad visas. These are special visas that allow Indians to live and work abroad for extended periods of time without having to navigate the complexities of traditional work visas. So what we're showing you right now is a list of 10 countries that offer digital visas to Indians. This is from a recent report in the Indian Express.
The eligibility criteria for these typically include the basics. So you need a clean criminal record, you need financial stability, and you need compliance with specific countries you're applying for. But the requirements, etc., are pretty much, sometimes there's an income threshold, work experience requirements, pretty much the basic of what a visa would ask you for. But the difference here is that typically it's valid between 6 months to, in some cases, even 2 years.
And this is only an option for those who are in specific or freelance friendly industries? Maybe, maybe not. That's what we're going to take a look at. Is this only for those who have no families that they have to pay for, to love, to take care of? Again, that's a question we're going to look at. And how much money do you have to have saved in the bank to do any of this? All of these questions. Is this really an accessible option for each of us? To bust some of these myths, we decided we need to bring you to the digital nomads. We brought the digital nomads onto TBC.
Let's start with our first nomad of the episode. He is Nishay. He is a photographer by profession. Nishay currently is on a mission to live out of his caravan, to live on wheels for 365 days. He's covered already half of it already. Let's bring him on. He also doesn't have a house. We figured out he just has a small pad in Jaipur, which is basically his storage space. And let's understand his life in a little bit more detail now. Good morning, Nishay. You are in your caravan as you join us. It's really lovely to see you there. But tell us, how is the home on wheels really treating you? And how long have you been there, been in that caravan which you call home now?
Yeah, I am currently doing like a road trip of 365 days and I have already completed like 135 days. Like I started back in November. So yeah, or like I am traveling in it. I traveled in like Rajasthan, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh, and I went to Uttarakhand during this trip, and currently I am in Himachal. So yeah, it's my home on wheels. So I sleep inside, like I have a washroom, kitchen and everything inside.
Nishay, one of the things we're discussing is the kind of careers you can do. In your case, you're a photographer. Is this a very, very well-suited job for a photographer? A very well-suited life for a photographer?
Yeah, like it's perfect. I think so caravan is a perfect thing for a photographer, like for a travel photographer. Like I have solar panels on the roof, and I can charge all my devices and I can stay wherever I want basically to shoot a particular location at the perfect timing. So it works very well for me.
Nishay, your life is envy-worthy, and those pictures are absolutely spectacular where you literally sleep under the skies over there. But tell us, how did it get started? How did you think of getting a caravan and saying that, listen, I'm going to take off for a year?
So when I was in my school days, I used to see a lot of shows about food trucks, and I was very fascinated about cooking and like about the food truck. So I asked my parents that can I build a food truck and like start something like that. And they were like, "Ki, you should do science and study well and get a job." So then I became a photographer. Like I did job only for a year, and then I had my own startup, and I was doing my photography. And then I just saw a few creators outside India who are traveling in a caravan and doing photography. So it just happened.
Nishay, can we ask you?
Yeah, but
Can we ask you to show us around your van? Can we get that little look around?
exactly. We're dying to see. We're dying to see what's inside.
I'll give you a tour. So like I have a proper gas stove. This is the gas stove. Then I have the storage for my food. This is my wardrobe. Like I have four wardrobes like this. This is my bed, which becomes like a proper queen size bed, and it comes still here. Like this is a sink. I have a full functional sink here, and then I have a fridge here. It's a 50-liter fridge. Sofas, then a work desk.
Yeah. I like how Nishay has kept the loo and everything out of the gear. Okay, it's still there in the caravan, but he's not showing us that just yet. But Nishay, I have to ask you, do you miss home? Living on wheels for so long?
Sometimes like I miss my parents and my family. So like I don't have my parents, so I miss my family basically, like my grandmother and my uncle.
Nishay, for our TBC family that's watching this right now, do you have any learnings, any advice that you'd like to share with others who might want to embark on this journey?
Yeah, they should rent a caravan for like 20 days or at least a month or 2 months, I think so, to get a hold of it and decide that if they want to continue or build one for them or not. That would be my advice. Who wants to get into van life?
All right, Nishay, before we let you go, we have to understand what is the best part and the worst part about having to live on wheels, having a home on wheels.
So the best part is like you can stay at very amazing places and it won't cost like a hole in your pocket and you can cook your own food and enjoy the best views. And the first part I feel is maintenance. Like it's not like your home that you can keep something on the outside or the other way. Like you need to keep it clean and like everything falls down when the van is moving. So it's always like you have to be on toes, like cooking, cleaning. It's like that. Like what I feel is caravan is like a television. When a television was launched in 90s, so caravan is like that. Like everybody is super excited to see, and people are like, we are seeing it for the first time, and they go like crazy. Like what is this inside a car?
So we're just playing out for our audiences, Nishay, some of the visuals that you were just showing us right now. Those are all visuals that we've just taken from Instagram of your trips. We just went there, we stalked you a little and we shared some of those visuals for our audiences. So we hope that's all right because we wanted to take them to the adventure, as you were saying right now. So these are all visuals that Nishay has taken as he's traveled from different places and you can just see the kind of life he's living there. It's so cool, as you can see. Okay. Let's take you now to something slightly different. Nishay is of course traveling alone, but what if you can't do without the ones that you love? We wanted to bring you a slightly different example also. Kartik and Smriti are traveling through the Americas, so outside India, and they actually have their two furry pals. So you have Everest and Bali, these are their two dogs. They're traveling with them. Now in their case, they aren't creatives, they have 9 to 5 regular jobs, and we wanted to ask them how they figure all of this out. So let's just go over to both of them to understand more. Kartik, Smriti, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on TBC. You're, of course, right now in Argentina. You're going to be back on the road in a little while. Tell us, how did you figure out your visas? That's always the most complicated question. And how did the brown van, which is what you've called the van you travel in, how did that happen?
So we both I was born and brought up in India. Kartik.
I lived in multiple different countries because of my dad's job. So I've lived in India for 4 years cumulatively in my entire lifespan so far. But the
idea of brown van, we were just when this idea of doing a long-term road trip lifestyle came into our head, we were looking for a van. And this was in Toronto, where we moved after we did our undergrads there as international students, started working there, and that's when this idea happened. So we started exploring camper van options, and everything was 2020 peak 2018 before COVID.
Yeah.
The camper vans were very, very expensive, even the markets. It felt like a very overwhelming risk to take, putting $50,000 or something big like that. That's when one day while driving to a camping trip, we spotted the brown van parked on a farm. And I don't know.
It was just something that
it
just called us. It was like love at first sight. You can say very old van,
I
petrol
told
van.
Kartik, I was like, this is it. This is the van that's going to take us on this adventure. And Kartik rolled his eyes. He's like, there's no way this thing. It's a 45-year-old camper van, 1977. Right. So, but then something about it just felt like it had a story to tell.
Yeah, but guys, tell us that, it sounds really nice and fancy and a really adventurous life to be living out of a camper van or a caravan for that matter. But it's a lot of work. How are you guys managing to maintain this place, be out on your own, look for, places you can bathe and do your laundry, etc., and also work? How is that balance coming around?
Yeah, sure. We definitely really are. We really preach about not giving up on the 9 to 5, because you can't. We are from Indian backgrounds. We have different sets of responsibilities, and our family comes in the picture. We can't be like, hey, mom, dad, thanks for spending all this money on us. Peace out. We're going exploring the world. We can't do that. Realistically, it's not for us. Those who can do it, great for them. But I just felt like there has to be another way of doing this. That's when we decided to pivot our careers in 2018. I'm in digital marketing. I work with analytics.
And I'm in IT consulting, so I work with SaaS-based products, and I help them go live, implement SaaS-based products basically for different companies. So we pivoted towards leaving our regular full-time jobs and started going through exploring the freelance model. And
also, sorry to interrupt you. But the one thing we did before that, it's very true that you cannot pivot a role that is you can't make a freelance model work for long term if your role is very people oriented, right? If you're a manager, if you're someone who has a team of 10 people under him, if you have a very people oriented role, then it's really hard to pivot to that freelance model. You don't get the liberty. But one thing with remote roles is you really have to you cannot
we're almost over delivering and overachieving than maybe if we were in the office. Just because of, I don't know, maybe it's just we're also trying to compensate for the lifestyle that we are leaving.
You don't want them to question your lifestyle choices, right? So we are always over delivering and never missing a deadline. Work comes on the priority for sure.
Wow, those are some front bencher answers. Can you tell us, this is slightly personal, but do you both ever get sick of being around each other because you're traveling from country to country, stuck next to each other in a caravan?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely take space from each other, especially because we're in such close proximity to each other in the van. We don't really have separate rooms to go to. We're pretty much in each other's space the entire time. But we have a basic set of routines that we do separately. So, for example, I am a morning person, so I wake up early and I'll take the dogs out for a long walk, and she stays alone in the van and does her morning routine. And we kind of keep that separate, and that's when we have our me time.
Yeah, the mornings are very crucial. Kartik will go for his long walk with the dogs. I'll do my whatever morning routine I have to do. That gives us a little clear.
And then we do work in separate lines of work per se. So we do have a separation in that, but we do come together as creatives also. We do run our Instagram page and YouTube, right? So we are working on that together. So there is an overlap in the work and life also for us.
But also we kind of just don't, we are very similar people. So I think that works really in our favor. If you're, we don't seek, there are not too many differences that we have as human beings. We approach problem solving the same way. We approach our social responsibilities, all of that the same way. So the values are very similar. Like we both aspire to have the same things in life. That kind of helps with a lot of conflicts. Like we haven't had any major fights, disagreements, yes.
Kartik and Smriti, who are you guys? You're really making us question our life choices altogether. But let's come down to logistics. You know, it sounds like a dream, but how easy or difficult is it to get the paperwork out of the way? If you're in India, if you want to travel with just your pet, it's a nightmare. Then doing cross country on a caravan, how does that work?
Yeah, when you plan something like that, these processes build up in your head. They sound very overwhelming till you do it. Once you do it, you're like, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Because it's like certain documents you need, you procure them, and almost all of Pan America, the requirements are same. So if you do one border crossing with the dogs, you understand, okay, these are the documents I need. For the car inspection, the import permit for the car you need the car insurance, of course, visa on arrival paperwork. So there are 4 or 5 documents that we need. I can just go in the order. First is the import permit for the car, TIP, temporary import permit, car insurance, which you get at the border, visa on arrival for both of us, because we had US tourist visa for 10 years on our Indian passport, which gives you visa on arrival for like 80% of these countries. So we didn't have to worry about visa on pretty much all of the countries. Then the dog certificates,
which is basically a veterinary checkup
in every
from
country.
The previous country you were in, and then you present it to the country that you're entering.
Yeah, and apart from few countries like Colombia, Chile, and Argentina, where they have their own agriculture department that will attest these veterinary documents and give you their own certified documentation that your dog is healthy and fit to enter the next country.
Yeah.
So some borders are just not infrastructurally advanced. A process can take a whole day. We are stuck at the border for a whole day, pretty much, like Nicaragua and stuff are very strict. So we were at the border like
those are tough days.
Tough days. Some countries are easier. You can just smooth in. Bolivia was super easy for us. So yeah, once you do it once, it becomes easier. And you kind of become pro by the end of it. So it's not as hard. It feels overwhelming in your head, but it's not as hard.
All right, Kartik and Smriti, thank you so much for sharing your story with us, and good luck on the road. Safe travels to you guys, since you don't ever stop doing that. But if all of our viewers wondering at this point that, listen, this is not the life for me, don't worry, the next story will give you the regular way of traveling as well. If our first story has set off the travel bug within you, the next one is going to give you wings. Why? Because remember that iconic Chaiya Chaiya song with Shah Rukh Khan jamming away on top of a train roof?
Our colleague Purnima takes you to that same iconic spot. This is the famed Nilgiri Mountain Railway. It's of course a UNESCO heritage facility also. All you need to know about Tamil Nadu's favorite hill station in this next story. Take a look.
As temperatures soar across India, there are still some places offering a refreshing respite with their cooler climates. One such famous getaway in Tamil Nadu is Ooty. Ooty, also known as the Queen of Hill Stations in Tamil Nadu, currently has temperatures around 19 degrees Celsius. Situated in the Nilgiri Hills, it's famous for its tea gardens, colonial architecture, and the scenic Nilgiri Mountain Railway. The train service is a major tourist attraction as it winds its way through picturesque valleys.
This is the Nilgiri's mountain train, also called the toy train. You can find the first train is going to start at 9:15 a.m. It is going to traverse through the mountains, through the Nilgiri's mountains. It's going to be a very picturesque travel. It's more than exciting for all the tourists here. Toy train in Ooty is quite famous, right? Especially for families. How difficult was it for you all to get tickets and finally board the train?
It was a bit difficult, but we managed to get in Tatkal. Yes, and we are very happy to go by this toy train.
If the joyride looks familiar to you, don't be confused. This is the same place SRK's famous song Chaiya Chaiya was shot.
We are inside the Nilgiri's mountain train. This in fact is from Ooty to KT. It's a weekend special. It's a 2-hour train journey. It goes to KT. Most of the cine shoots, including Chaya Chaya song, where you have the artificial tunnel, all those were shot here. One of the interesting things to do or watch out for in Ooty is the Doddapeta Peak. This is the peak. It is about 2,700 odd meters from below, and in fact you can see a lot of tourists come here. This is the Doddapeta Peak and this is the observatory deck, and this also gives a picture of the entire Ooty view. This is also one of the famous spots, one of the things to do, and people in fact would like to come here to take a lot of pictures here. A great view.
Another famous tourist spot is Doddabetta, with its peak standing at 8,650 feet or 2,637 meters above sea level. Doddabetta mountain is the highest point in the district.
Where are you from?
Bangalore.
From Bangalore.
Yeah.
How's the climate here?
Very nice.
And you get a good view of the entire Ooty and Kullu from here?
Very nice.
Very nice.
We like it very nice.
Where are you all from? You are from Bangalore?
Basically, we are from Bangalore.
Okay.
We just came here for the visit. You know that there is a scorching heat outside in Bangalore, so it's better to come here and enjoy the view. I think it's a nice weather. Nice weather.
And how's the peak from here? The view from here?
Obviously, Ooty is known for like view. So as well as like you are having like coolest weather here so far in South India. So that's why I think everybody would be enjoying here. So there is no doubt, nature-wise, it's the best place to ride in South India.
Pleasant climate combined with beautiful landscapes makes Ooty a popular destination for honeymooners and families alike. Tired of this excruciating heat wave this summer? Add Ooty to your travel list.
Okay, we hope we've got the wandering spirit in you. Why?